I basically wrote a letter to my narcissistic mom that I will never be leading up to her ever. But it's just something I wanted to, like, you know, if maybe there's a shot that she would ever understand, but I don't think so. I'm just gonna explain it anyway, you know, maybe if someone's out there is watching this who's willing to maybe do some self-reflection, then I think this would be maybe good for you. But anyway, I have a bit of a monotone voice. That's just something I can't control. There's something about the way of the world that makes us either imitate it or revolt against it. To make sure this upcoming idea is not a bid to evade responsibility, I leave this year. This also ties into a question of if we're at the hands of fate or if we truly have free will, and if so, how do we go about knowing if what we're listening to is true intuitive free will or not? I have such bad handwriting, I can't even read it. To do this, we would have to become somewhat wiser, to know if the voice in our ear is ego, fear, and coming to terms with if they really reflect reality and the reality you imagine being and existing in. You must acknowledge the possibility that the world is more unknown than you realize, that you don't know yourself as well as you think you do, that in a few ways you might be wrong about the world, about yourself, and about everyone around you. You have to honestly ask yourself, if you're against the universe, if you're against the way that it treated you, or all the ways you find it ugly, ask yourself what a different world would look like. If there's no point, ask yourself what the world would look like if there was a point. An even harder question, ask yourself what the world would look like if to you kindness mattered for the sake of kindness. No matter how alien, try to imagine it. You are equally a victim and a hero. The question that separates these two, are you living in a universe you want to be living in? Hint, universe. Rationality is said to be a state in which one is most centered with themselves and their day-to-day values. What I think people fail to point out is the fear and limiting beliefs that can dominate your inner values in dormant states. So in states of neutrality, you know, you're just living your life like most of us 99% of the time. This could be argued that a lot of people aren't really in calm states, and more people are functioning from a state of higher energy. It is because of emotion is said to get, I shouldn't read it like that. It is because emotion is said to get in the way of rationality, meaning it would veer you off your internal compass, according to this theory. But I think for people who are in more neutral states, they are generally less aligned with their values and sense of self. It is emotions of love and peace that have the capacity to align you with your core. To me, the idea of soul and spirit comes into play, as some emotions lead to immoral acts like hurt and shame, for example, but it is other feelings like love that are needed to do moral acts. If not, there would be nothing to drive you to do it. Without emotion, you have no reason to be reasonable, because you have nothing you love enough to protect and stand for. No harmony you wish to attain, no higher self you wish to master, and no real world you wish to live in. I think that reason is thought of as the highest language of morality because it is the path that leads you there. The reason a lot of people don't follow a moral path is because there is something in their framework or thought process that is distorted. By following reason in response to their emotional landscapes as well as general reason, they can reveal painful misunderstandings about the way the world works. When this is understood, there's a sense of inner peace that emerges when understanding the innocence of yourself and the way reality hurt you and failed to right reason the way it should have. When each piece of the puzzle feels innocent, you included, you start to wonder if you're right and reason truly is ugly, because it gave you a life void of love. But love gave you the ability to read this right now, to think about it, even if it feels stupid or pointless. It continuously gives you a million new ways to understand yourself, if you would just be curious enough to wonder about who you are deep down. If it doesn't feel very deep, then take this as an opportunity to rebel against yourself, something that doesn't make sense to you, to be everything you should stand against, and to watch yourself suffer through it. And know that this person's suffering is you as well, and doesn't deserve to be told they're worthless, even while being a living nightmare. This person deserves the ability to be learning and failing more than they're learning. They deserve to be treated with empathy and have their potential for growth loved, celebrated, and cared for, with no punishment for failure. Because understanding and wisdom comes from empathy and compassion. It means understanding that no one should be held responsible for the way they learn to do things, but only by their ability to wish for reason and self-mastery, no matter how scary, unfamiliar, or hard it looks. You have to allow yourself to want a better life, no matter how unfit or deserving you think you are. You are not too stupid or out of reach to want to be a better person. It is not a self-betrayal to put someone else above yourself. When you can form a bridge with someone in an innocent way, you have to understand you're innocent enough to be understood completely and entirely, even if it feels like other people won't agree, even if you're certain you don't. The nature of reason can only conclude that you do contain the innocence to be understood completely and entirely through a lens of pure love rather than rejection. Anyone who fails to see the entirety of your innocent being, it is because they have failed to recognize the inherent innocence in their pain. Now you do not need to show them love. You just need to realize the emotion, excitement, or hatred you're experiencing to the person hurting you, and that it's the same amount of hurt that that person is already feeling, and therefore trying to get you to feel. By recognizing the power of reason on your side, you're connecting to a deeper confidence inside you that love and reason is giving you the endless opportunity to love yourself and commit to bettering yourself without any sort of punishment or judgment or ill feelings from anyone or from you. Anyone can do it. Anyone can dare to want it if they ask themselves, is there a part of me that wants this? No matter how small the voice is, no matter how unrealistic it sounds, listen to it. That is your wisest self. And I might add more to it, but, I'm getting splurges to fill it in more, but that's just what I think right now sounds the best. So, thank you for listening. If you like it, please subscribe, like this video. Thank you!